Welcome to the Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast. I'm Tori Mystic, here with my dog Lucy. Together, we're interviewing cool, creative women entrepreneurs whose work is inspired by their dogs. Do you dream of working alongside your dog? Then sit, stay, and listen to the latest episode. On this episode, I'm talking to a woman who helps other women and pet-run businesses get their branding and marketing in order. Do you know who your target audience is? We'll get into why you need to know and how it will help you grow your pet-related biz. Plus, learn about some productivity apps that are great for people who run multiple businesses. Let's dive in. Kim Dow is an entrepreneur at heart. She's combined her creative spirit with her drive to empower women and her love of animals to start 3 award-winning businesses. Her flagship company is Sass Studios, a boutique branding and creative design studio that specializes in supporting and empowering women-owned and pet-related businesses by helping them cultivate their visual voice. Kim also launched Sass Magazine that covers a variety of topics, including career, wellness, travel, style, and more, as well as special features on women doing amazingly kick-ass things. Additionally, Kim recently launched EverydayDogMagazine.com, a lifestyle website for modern-day dog owners and lovers. When not at work, Kim can be found hanging out at home with her husband and high school sweetheart, Jimmy. They share their Frederick, Maryland home with their rescued animals, 2 pit bulls named Kai and Bruce, and their very old but very spunky cat. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Tori. How
are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be here today.
Me too. I'm really excited to hear about everything that you do. I love that you've found a way to inject pets into your business, but then you kind of started a whole separate pet-related business too. So that's really exciting.
Yep.
So let's start by talking about Sass Studios. So that seems to be kind of like your, if you could say, flagship business. And you help entrepreneurs and petrepreneurs cultivate creative branding. So what exactly does that mean? What do you do at Sass Studios to help people?
Yeah, so at Sass Studios, where it's a creative services studio or a graphic design firm, so we specialize in working with women-owned businesses or pet-related, pet-owned businesses or organizations, just to kind of give them a professional look. So starting with their branding, whether that's logo, business cards, website, the basics, to we design full magazines for some of our clients, billboards, advertising, brochures, kind of anything that you can fit it, like hold in your hand, we'll create. And then of course we also do websites and digital ads, Facebook graphics, things like that. So anything visual, we're here to create.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I noticed in your bio was you used the term your visual voice. And I just thought that was so interesting because so many of us who have online businesses, we don't get to really speak to so many people face to face, but all your social media and everything is very visual. So what are some questions that you ask your clients or that listeners should be asking themselves when they're trying to figure out their visual voice?
So the very first question you need to ask yourself and figure out is, who is your target market? Who is your audience? Who are you speaking to? And really honing in on that. Maybe your audience is everybody, but you can't really come up with one visual look that appeals to everybody. So even though you might have various clients in different places, think about who your dream client would be. Like, who is that special person that you really want to talk to? Every time you create a visual, even if it's down to what you're typing on your social media or what your website is saying, the photos that you're using, anything, just have that person in mind so that you're speaking directly to them. And a lot of people think that might alienate other people who they might want to do business with. It really doesn't. It just kind of makes you have a niche and a focus, and it kind of sets you up as an expert. And what happens a lot of times is those people who are sort of outside of that realm, like, want to work with you even more because you have this kind of special look or special voice.
Yeah.
So definitely know who your audience is.
Yeah. That I love that. And I hear that all the time. A lot of people, because I think I've narrowed down my audience pretty tightly for wear, wag, repeat, and I know that I'm trying to reach stylish dog moms, and there are people outside of that exact circle who read my content. I get, since I have a chocolate lab, there's a lot of like dudes who are fishermen who follow my account because they just like chocolate labs. So they're outside of my target demographic. But when you look at all of my content, you can tell exactly, what my brand is about. So people are always asking me, what about the guys, and what about the cat people? And you just can't appeal to everybody.
Right. If you're trying to appeal to everybody, you're not really appealing to anybody per se.
Right.
So you can't please everyone. So your business can't really please everyone. I mean, it can, but like you have to hone in.
So let's talk about websites a little bit more. I spend a lot of time looking at pet businesses' websites, and especially when I'm looking for people that I want to interview for this podcast, I'm always looking at the About page. And I wanted to just kind of get some advice from you that might be able to help the readers. When I look at people's About pages, it's kind of like my pet peeve is like I always see it and it's like, this company was founded in 1996, and it's like very just like static, and it doesn't have a lot of personality that like pets have so much personality. I think if we're inspired by our pets, our websites and everything should kind of reflect that. So what can someone do on their website to help them connect with their audience, maybe like write a better About page or what do they need to have a better website?
Well, again, going back to, you have to know who your audience is. So your website is a marketing tool, and you always have to think of it as a tool. It's one tool out of hopefully many that you have. So you shouldn't just rely on your website alone for everything. So I think that goes into who are you talking to? So if you're talking to corporate, super corporate high ups or associations, then maybe having an About page that is a little bit more stoic, and I don't want to say boring, but maybe that is right for you. But if you're in a pet business and you're talking to consumers and you're talking to like other pets, or you want to have your pet site have like almost the personality of you or your pet, then just think about talking in your own voice as if you're talking to your friend, or again that target market. So yeah, adding in some of the fun stuff, fun facts or ways of phrasing something can be just enough what you need. Always keep it professional though.
Right.
So it is finding that balance of being professional and also kind of smart and savvy. And for us, since we're Sass Studios, we always say like keep it sassy. So in all of our text, we make sure we have that little tiny edge that takes it a little bit over. So you kind of have to find that for yourself, what that means for you.
Yeah, and I was actually just looking at Everyday Dog Magazine, which is one of your other businesses, and one of the articles on the homepage that I clicked on was like 5 things you can do to promote your pet business online or something like that. And one of those 5 things was to share about yourself, or maybe share a photo of you, or tell a little bit, a little bio thing. Do you have any advice for people with that kind of stuff? Because I know when I see a lot of pet businesses, they feature the pets in the forefront, which of course is important, but I love to kind of see the person behind it, which is probably why I started this podcast, so I can interview people. But do you think that's a good idea to show yourself, even on like your pet Instagram?
Yes, absolutely. Because especially if you have a pet business and you're working with other people's pets, that is so personal. That's something that's so personal to your clients. The pets are their family essentially. If you just show them photos, stock photos or photos of animals, and they don't know who you are, especially on your website, like that's one of the first ways that they get to know you in a sense. So if you have photos of yourself, photos of you with your pet, photos of you with some of your past clients, like that already starts to establish that trust, and to kind of see you interacting with animals and kind of establishing, almost getting to know you in a way before they even get to know you. So because the pet industry is so personal, yeah, I would definitely say use photos of yourself. Although I would also say use quality photos of yourself. So, I know a lot of people hiring a photographer is sometimes expensive, but there's a lot of really great pet photographers who might do something for a trade or something like that. Or maybe it's just something that you really need to invest in that you can use on all of your marketing throughout, or have a friend, go and take a photo of you, like specifically to have that photo. Like, don't just use, a snapshot of you from 8 years ago that you cropped in on that's all fuzzy. Like, make sure that it's still professional.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think a lot of people don't, or they just kind of like leave the photography until the last second because, as entrepreneurs, we have 8,000 things on our plates and so much to worry about, and like writing the copy and writing a blog post and doing your social media. And then sometimes putting makeup on and getting dressed nice to go take photos is at the bottom of the list for a lot of people.
Sure.
But those photos, even if you hire a photographer for a couple $100s, they could last you a couple of years as your bio, your headshot, or whatever.
Exactly, and you'll be able to use them on other marketing pieces as well. So you'll get a lot of use out of them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so speaking of photos, you have lots and lots of great images on both of your magazines' websites. Tell us a little bit. You just do so many things. So tell us about Sass Magazine, and then maybe like how did you come to own Everyday Dog Magazine?
Sure. So here's the story of how they all three of my businesses, if you will, sort of work together. It started with a graphic design company, and I'm a women-owned business, and I just kind of really clicked with other women-owned businesses. And so we started working specifically with women-owned businesses. We also started doing a lot of magazines for our clients. And it got to the point where we loved magazines so much that we wanted to start our own magazine. And where I live in Frederick, Maryland, which is kind of Western Maryland, about an hour outside of DC or Baltimore, there wasn't really a resource for women in our community to kind of celebrate what they were doing. And there's a lot of amazing women here. So we decided to go ahead and take our magazine design skills and what we had learned through the graphic design firm, which is now Sass Studios, and create Sass Magazine, which is a quarterly print magazine. It's a women's lifestyle and professional magazine. And the print magazine is geared towards women in the Western Maryland region. So we talk about women in our area doing just amazing things. We talk about kind of edgier things that women like doing. We have like your fashion and your beauty and recipes and all of those things, because let's not lie, we all love all of that. But we also go into career, wellness. We do like feature articles that are kind of unexpected, like women in weightlifting, women who ride motorcycles, women in certain career fields that are typically male oriented. So we like to take that edge. And then the print magazine kind of spawned into sassmagazine.com, which is now a national resource for just to celebrate real women. We call it real women, about real women, by real women. So it's like no nonsense about everything that women enjoy and like and or are challenged by. So definitely check that out.
I looked at the website and it doesn't seem like it's Maryland focused or anything. So it's for everyone, the online.
The online is for everyone. Mm-hmm. The print publication right now is for Western Maryland. And through all of that, while we were kind of launching that, we also, this is a really long story, so I apologize.
That's okay. It's interesting.
Also on our design side of things, we had a lot of pet related businesses or organizations, associations. So we started doing a lot more work specifically with petpreneurs or pet businesses as well. And one of our clients was a pet magazine, a regional pet magazine. And we worked with the previous owner for 5 or 6 years. And then just last year, she kind of moved on, and she went and she joined a national organization, Pilots for Paws. which is like this great organization that takes pilots and transports dogs in need, like to safety, basically.
Right.
So she was focusing on that, and she approached me because we had worked together for years to see if I was interested in it. I had never thought about starting or running a second magazine ever. But it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. So we went ahead and I took over her magazine, but we wanted to change it so that it had kind of our voice, what we had established through Sass, that voice. So we kind of changed it. We ended up changing the name because we didn't want it to be regionally focused. We wanted it to be nationally focused, so for everybody. So we changed the name to Everyday Dog Magazine. And now we're kind of posting articles that are more lifestyle based. So more for the basically the everyday dog owner, the things that everyday dog owners are interested in. And again, those are fun things, from topics from like how to throw a birthday party for your dog to like really important things like what's the difference, what are some foods that your dog can't eat, or the difference between shelters, or what to know. So it ranges for like really fun things to really important things. So
how do you come up with your ideas for your content for Everyday Dog Magazine? Do you guys like go around and pull people at the dog park, or you're obviously all dog lovers at your studio, so maybe you just sit around? How do you come up with everything, and how often are you putting out new stuff, I guess?
So coming up with things is actually kind of easy right now because we're a creative team. Our studio, there's 4 of us who work here, and then we have 1 or 2 interns, depending on the time. So it's just a hub of creativity all day long. But a lot of ways we think about what we want to know, because we're all dog owners and lovers. We listen to what our friends or our colleagues or a lot of our clients, because a lot of our clients are pet businesses. Right. So, we have that aspect as well. And in that regard of knowing your audience, essentially we're our audience. So when we say, oh my God, I'm really excited, I really want to know a lot about this, it's really easy to write it because that's who we're writing it for. But we also like to reach out to other dog bloggers or dog professionals, dog organizations, and have them help and contribute story ideas and submit or pitch a story idea. So we get a lot of ideas that way as well.
Yeah, it seems like there's an endless stream of ideas, but as someone who's been blogging for 5 years, like I do get writer's block and I get stumped sometimes, but there are so many things. I was just thinking while you were talking about, I saw a dog recently that this girl had taken. It was like a little Pomeranian or something, and she'd gotten it groomed. And I am so like, I don't really know much about the little dog ownership world, but she had this little dog groomed and had like a crystal bindi kind of like put on the dog's forehead. And I was just like thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder if crystal bindis are safe for use on your dog to make sure they don't eat it. But there you go. That's an article idea.
Yeah, see, that's how it happens. Just walking down the street and noticing something, and it turns into an article somehow.
I love it. So you mentioned reaching out to like other bloggers and dog organizations, but are there ways that listeners or that your readers can get involved in either or both magazines?
Yes, definitely. For both magazines, we're always looking for guest contributors. So either if you're a writer or a blogger, or somebody who maybe hasn't done a lot of writing or used to and wants to get back into it, definitely reach out to us. We're always looking to work with people. And if you don't have a specific story idea, we can assign you something or suggest something. Or if you have a certain expertise that you want to write about, or an idea, we are open to having people pitch us story ideas. So we're always looking for contributors. We also, I wrote down a couple things. Also, of course, any dog business can also advertise with us. Any dog business or any women-oriented business can also advertise with us. We have a lot of opportunities where we will write a business spotlight about you, so our readers can get to know kind of not just what you offer, but who your company is and what your values are and your mission. We also have opportunities for sponsored content, so to sponsor an article that we write. So that might, that's a great price point. And then, of course, advertising and stuff. But that's a good way for businesses to get involved. Or we're also looking for, like, if anybody has a new product or something, we do a lot of contests. So we're happy to use your product as a prize to give away to kind of help build info about that. If you're in the Maryland or DC metro region, we do have a lot of events through Sass Magazine that are for women-oriented events that are just a lot of fun. Just a great kind of no agenda networking type things where you can get to know other women. And then we have some things that we call Sass classes where you can learn some really fun and cool things. So if you're in the region, definitely come to one of our events.
That sounds very fun.
And then last, of course, engaging with us and following us on social media. Any suggestions, even if you're a reader and you have a suggestion or a question, we're always on our social media channels and we are always asking and looking for just feedback. So that's a good, easy way to get involved also.
Yeah, and see what you're posting about and maybe pitch some ideas, perhaps.
Yep, or sharing photos with us or just anything really. We do want to we're new at this, so we're open. It's open to anything.
Do you have a signature hashtag that people should use if they want to tag you in their posts?
Yeah, for Everyday Dog, it is Everyday Dog Mag.
Okay.
And for Sass Magazine, it's just Sass Magazine.
All right. Well, everyone, there you go. It's a challenge for you. Start tagging that hashtag on your posts and we connect with each other.
Yep.
So you, I think if I understand right, you did used to work in some sort of a more structured 9-to-5 gig before you started doing all of your own things. And I think that a lot of the people that I speak to through this show have a day job and they really want to leave it to pursue something dog related or pet related. So do you have any advice for someone who's looking to do that?
I do. So yeah, I did have a 9-to-5 job. I was a graphic designer at a studio before I started my own studio. My first advice to be that I always tell people is you'll know you're ready when that's all you can think about. When you fall asleep thinking about your job, when you wake up in the morning and when you dream about it. And even when you're working, if it's constantly in the back of your mind, when that happens, you're probably maybe ready to go ahead and take the leap. But I also will say kind of plan ahead a little bit. So for me, I had planned a year in advance. I knew that January, I told myself that was my goal, my New Year's goal. Like by the end of this year, that's it. I'm going to be starting my own business by the end of this year. So I gave myself kind of that deadline. So I think that's also really good too, because that allowed me to sort of have a year where I was planning in the background for this business. So I didn't just, quit my job and then I wasn't just like, oh my God, what do I do?
Right.
I had a plan. I worked on my website. I worked on who my audience was going to be, branding information, all of that. So I would definitely say, to do that as well. I had a journal and I found it just the other day. I had this journal that whenever I would take my lunch break working at my 9-to-5, I would just like write down ideas and I just kept a stream of thoughts. And then that's what I kind of used when I was ready, like as my.
That's a great idea. I need to start doing that.
Yeah, it was good. It was helpful. And it was really cool to kind of look back on it and see that I've been in business for a little over 10 years now. So looking back on it, finding it 10 years later and saying, oh my God, I actually did most of this stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
I love that.
But yeah, if you're at that point, then, go for it. You don't have to know everything. I didn't know everything, and I still don't know everything. I'm figuring out along the way. You just have to have a curiosity, a drive, and you have to be self-motivated as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So so not only did you start one business, but now you have 3 businesses. So juggling all of that, are there any apps, like specific programs or anything that you rely on that like completely save your life? For me, it's Planoly. That is what I use to plan out my Instagram posts and everything. So do you have anything like that you just can't live without?
Yes. We cannot live without Slack, which is kind of, for us, we use it because there's 4 of us in the office. We use it as an intercommunication. But I know a lot of people use it also for their clients. But Slack is kind of like a messaging app that you can use. You can send files through it. You can create channels for each thing that you're talking about, and you can easily go and look back. That has sort of changed the way that we do business here when we started using it about 2 years ago. So Slack is really great for communication, especially if you have, whether you have contractors that you're working with or employees or clients that are all over the place. It's a really great way to talk to people all in one. We're currently using Plan for our Instagram planning, which is kind of a new app for us that we're really liking. And then we use WordPress. All of our websites are on WordPress. So that is a really, really helpful tool. We have an SEO plugin that it's included on the back end of the WordPress. We're able to plan and schedule and draft all of our articles and things like that. So if you're looking for a really good website for your business platform, I would highly, highly suggest WordPress.
Good. Yeah, I use WordPress too, and I love it. And I have, I guess I just have my 2 websites now. Over the years, I've managed like various different websites, but it's so nice to just manage different things that are like all on the same platform, so that you have like that muscle memory of where to click to make things happen.
Exactly. Yeah. And it gets easier. Sometimes it's kind of scary when you go into the back end and like you don't want to break the internet, but once you figure it out, it gets pretty intuitive.
I broke my website last week, but thanks to the wonderful people at GoDaddy, I got it back up and running.
Yeah. It is scary when that happens.
But generally, not always, but most of the time, you can recover it all.
Yeah, exactly.
So this has been really awesome. But before we go, I want to hear, of course, about your dogs, because that is like the reason why we all get up in the morning. So tell me about your 2 pit bulls, Kai and Bruce, and how you met them.
So Kai and Bruce are both rescued pit bulls. We've had Kai, and they're both old now. Kai's, I think, 13 and Bruce is 11. So they're getting up there in age. But they're still, super spunky and, have their own personalities. We got Kai 12 years ago. We got him when he was 1 year old, and I think we had him for maybe 6 years, and we decided, you know what, Kai needs a friend. So we went ahead and we found Bruce, and it's really funny. They're both male pit bulls, which is kind of unusual that well, not unusual, but we made sure that they got along really well and everything before. And they're just like the best buddies like ever. We call them they're each companion dogs for each other. Like, yeah. So yeah.
And do they get along with your cat?
They get along with the cat. The cat doesn't so much get along with them. So like they're interested in the cat and they'll go and smell her. And when Kai was younger, he tried to play with her. She did not want to have anything to do with that. So now they all just kind of they just kind of deal with each other.
Yeah. They kind of like do their own thing.
Yeah. But we fell in love with the pit bull breed, if you want to call them a breed. Several years ago, my husband ended up, a friend of ours in college had a pit bull at school in college, and he lived in Southeast Washington, D.C. And when he went home for summer break, pit bulls were banned in D.C. So he couldn't bring his dog back. So my husband, then boyfriend, took him for the summer, took her for the summer, and we just fell in love with the breed. And when we had a chance to get our own dog, that was the breed that we went with.
Yeah,
so.
They can be really sweet pets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, it was so wonderful to talk to you. Tell everyone who's listening how they can best find you. We gave them a lot of ideas, but just to remind everyone, what's the best way to find you?
So the best way to find us, if you are a pet business and you're interested in like some creative services or even just want to, bounce some ideas, you can find us at Sass, that's SASS, creativestudios.com. And we're on Facebook and Instagram at Sass Creative Studios for all of our handles. And then if you are interested in possibly getting involved with Everyday Dog Magazine, whether writing, contributing as an advertiser or suggestions, however, you can find us online at everydaydogmagazine.com. And then our handles for Facebook and Instagram are just Everyday Dog Mag.
Awesome. And if everyone wants to go to wearwagrepeat.com, I keep all the show notes for every episode there. So you can easily find the links if you are out walking your dog right now and you can't remember the URLs. You can just go back to Wear Wag Repeat and find links for all of this stuff. So thank you so much for being on the show, Kim.
Thank you for listening to the Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast. You can fetch show notes for this episode at wearwagrepeat.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And until next time, Lucy and I will see you around the dog park.